I'm Menachem Learfield, and this is Dear Rabbi, where we answer your questions about Judaism. This week on Dear Rabbi, why don't Jews mix milk and meat? The short answer, because God said so. I think we had an episode talking about kashrut in general, and we explored and explained the idea that the laws of kashrut are essentially a spiritual diet for our souls. Just as certain foods may clog our actual physical arteries, there are foods that clog our spiritual arteries. And the Almighty shared that with us and said, if we want to get the most spiritually out of life, we want to be open and attuned to spiritual realities, we have to first make sure that our diet is in line with that and that we don't do anything that will clog up and block our spiritual arteries. And the same is true with the laws of milk and meat. We don't mix milk and meat because the Torah says not to. With that said, there are reasons that are given. And again, we have to understand that when we have a reason for a specific mitzvah, that's not the be-all and end-all reason. It's really just a reason. The Hebrew word for reason is ta'am, which is the same as the Hebrew word for taste. The idea being that just as the Almighty created the world, He could have created it in a way that food was just bland and we ate it because we needed to survive. But instead, He made this magnificent world with beautiful foods and beautiful fruit in all different colors and tastes and textures. And that taste, that tam, enhances our function of eating. The same is true with the reason for mitzvot. We are supposed to look for the reasons. We're supposed to try and understand the reasons so that we can intellectually connect with the different mitzvot, but that is not the actual reason why we do it. There are, for every mitzvah, probably dozens, if not hundreds of reasons, each one with a layer deeper than the next. And just because we understand one reason doesn't mean that is the only reason for doing the mitzvah. So some of the reasons that are given for not mixing milk and meat, some of them are more Kabbalistic, others more practical. On the practical side, the Rambam Maimonides explains that in ancient times, pagan idolaters would mix milk and meat, and therefore, by mixing milk and meat, it would appear as if we too are pagans and are involved in pagan worship. That's one reason that's given. More on the Kabbalistic side, milk represents life in that new life is sustained with milk. Milk is also white, which represents purity. So milk represents life, and meat represents death. So we want to keep our milk, which is life, and our meat, which is death, separate, so we don't intermingle the two. So we understand there's a clear distinction between life and death. Keep the questions coming. If you have your own question, please hop on over to joydenver.com/Dear Rabbi, where you can submit a question of your own. Come on, I know you want to. I dare you. Double dare you.